Hello, good day, and welcome back inside the Mental Takedown podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Shea, as always, and this time we have Central Michigan's Brock Bergelin on the show. Brock is one heck of a story, almost not returning this year to compete at all. He was down, he's now
always new women, gotta keep a balance.
Drew Hildebrand decided not to
the girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge.
He's balancing.
I've been counted out so many times I couldn't count it.
As well.
Funny how now my accountant is having trouble trying to count it. To the people that think that I owe you shit, payback's a bitch and you know that shit.
As always,
y'all niggas getting too old for this. Please don't think no.
Joining me now is Central Michigan's 125-pounder, Brock Bergelin. How are we doing today, Brock?
Pretty good. Had a long day so far. Doing some homework tonight. Got an exam due at midnight, so just been doing some studying. Got a workout in earlier, and just gonna relax and look forward to this weekend. We just came off the MSU Open, and this weekend we're heading out to Journeyman on Friday. Have a pool play on Sunday, so never had a pool play tournament before, but that seems to be the layout of the Journeyman, so pretty excited for that.
Okay, now I feel pressure because I was not warned beforehand that you had an exam tonight. I'm not in the way of that, am I?
No, you're good. It's not due till midnight, so we'll be good.
As long as we're not pulling any of the Zoom 11:59 shenanigans, we'll be fine, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just give me till like 11:50 to start it, and we're good. No, I mean, yeah, I started my MBA for context this week, and I was actually I wasn't supposed to come back this year. Kind of an interesting story. We can talk about it more if we want, but I came back, the second week of school. So I enrolled in my grad program, and I have to do all my classes now in the last 8 weeks. So it's pretty crammed up. So it's been pretty crazy, but really enjoying getting back on the mat and whatnot. And everything's kind of a second chance for me. So it's pretty awesome in that perspective, to step away from the sport and then come back to it, and start scrapping.
So was it kind of wrestling that dictated that decision, or kind of the other way around?
Yeah. So, at the end of last year, right, we had Drew Hildebrand, one of my really good buddies, and he's very talented, very, very good at wrestling, and took fourth at NCAAs last year. And we were a close match, but I knew I wasn't going to edge him out. Central Michigan's a very tough program, right? We're a top 20 program every year. It's not easy to get in the lineup, and I had a really good job, and I was just ready to be done. I didn't want to come back for a fifth year, start a master's program, put the time and money into that, if wrestling wasn't going to pan out. So I decided to be done. I actually started coaching at Akron Wrestling Academy on top of my job. So I was staying pretty busy during the summer and whatnot. Just having fun with it, coaching kids, quite a few studs at the Akron Wrestling Academy as well. So just playing around with them, and I was just really loving the sport. And, when Drew decided not to come back, the coaches called me, and, I was still in okay shape. And so I got my weight down, I got back in shape, and 2 months later, and now we're competing, and I wrestled at the MSU Open last weekend, and, now we're back into the full swing of things.
Like the recruiting process all over again. Yeah, they call you, bring you back home.
Yeah, they called me, and I was just I was a torpedo. I was 150, 152. They called me, and they were Burley's got a very distinctive, Southern accent. He talks pretty soft, and he's like, Bergelin, is there any way you'd consider coming back? This and this has happened. I kind of already knew, because my best friends are still on the team and whatnot. And it's I had already known that he didn't show up to practice. And we were joking about it, of course, about me coming back. And I was playing a video game with him that night. And I was dude, I'm honestly considering it. And I gave it a week. I started started dieting and whatnot, just in case I did come back. And then I was you know what, let's just do this. So yeah, I think that next weekend I moved back. I enrolled into grad school and started training like right away. It's been crazy ever since.
So you said you were already you wrestled. So when Drew was there, presumably you were 33, yeah?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of like right in between, right? Like I'm like a good size 25 for sure, like one of the bigger 25s in the country, I'd consider myself, but like a little bit undersized for like 33, you know? And basically what happened is like I would wrestle like half the season, you know, and like start. And me and Drew Martin, if you know who that is, he's an NCAA qualifier for us. Like he was a really big 33. He's very talented, one of my good buddies, you know, like roomed with him for 3 years, and man just had my numbers. So I'd always just end up, you know, once he would get down to weight, we'd wrestle off and we'd always have some close matches, but he'd come out on top. And the end of the year, I just sit there. So I haven't wrestled a MAC tournament yet. I mean, I have a lot of top, you know, I've beaten a numerous amount of NCAA qualifiers. Like I've been right there, but like at the end of the day, like I'm kind of a nerd, and it helps, you know, a little study fuel with some snacks and whatnot, not cutting a ton of weight. So, I mean, like I knew I couldn't beat Drew, so I'd go up to 33 and, you know, focus on the development of getting better as a wrestler and focusing on school and whatnot. And that's just kind of how my 4 years went. You know, I went 25 as a red shirt, was cutting a lot of weight and couldn't beat Hildebrandt, so I bumped up. And then, you know, when Hildebrandt left, I was like, all right, well, 25 is my weight to do damage at. So I cut back down, and I mean now I'm back.
So just as a fun question, you said you were already dieting and you're dieting for a week. You're probably taking it semi-seriously, but now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I actually do have to make 25 for the first time in probably a while, yeah?
Yeah, that's actually the joke on Saturday was I haven't touched 25 since I was 18 years old, and I'm 22, turning 23 soon. So, but like, yeah, like honestly, like as soon as I got off that phone call, like I started like strict dieting. So like I've been like really strict for like 2 months straight now. It's actually like I just knew with like how crazy my life is between like trying to balance like, you know, grad school, my like job, and you know, wrestling. Like I don't have like the luxury to like cut water weight like on like the last day and whatnot. So like I kind of like I knew I had to get my body fat like pretty low, so like I wasn't pulling as much water. So I mean, as soon as I decided I was gonna do it, like, you know, I mean, I knew that like diet had to be like a huge part of it. So it's not fun, I won't lie. Donuts are good, you know, everybody loves like a good burger, but it's not bad. And I mean, honestly, I mean, I felt good down the weight, you know, I mean, wrestling on Saturday, like I felt fine in my wrestle off, you know, and we made weight on, and we had a 1 hour weigh-in, like I wrestled perfectly fine. So, I mean, everything's been going pretty good so far.
I guess now having not I guess not really thinking about wrestling until you came back and you did the open this weekend. How it's obviously very early in the season. How do you like kind of take stock in your results and kind of how you look at how the weekend went?
Yeah. I think the weekend went, I mean, pretty good. There's like three adjustments that I really think that I need to make. It's kind of like on my high crotch penetration step, you know, I mean, I'm a lefty fireman guy, or like lefty fireman to converting it to like a high crotch. And like my shot angle was pretty inward, which like didn't allow me to like drive off my lead leg. And then, you know, I mean, like when I like punch my underhook and get to like a single leg, you know, I kept trying to like run around it instead of like driving through. And then, I mean, I like to pin guys, right? Like when I was, I think 2 years ago, I went 17 and 13 at 133. And I think I had 12 pins, three techs, two majors, and two decisions. So like I like putting matches away. Like it's kind of my style. Like if I'm gonna win, like I always somehow find a way to pin a person. And I kind of like had that mindset, except against like good guys. Like I wrestled like the Michigan State starter, right? Like really good guy out of California. And like I went for like the kill right away to like try to pin him on top. And he actually got out underneath. And then I wrestled my second match, I wrestled Bryce West, who's a two-time NCAA qualifier, it was like same thing, like where like I tried to spladle him like from like the top position, and he ended up getting out that way. And then like in the finals too, like I went for like a cheap tilt, and I got like foot elevated. So like on top, just relaxing a little bit, wearing the guy out, and then going for my turns. Because like I mean I had like a solid weekend, right? I mean like I haven't been down to 25, like knocked off a Big Ten starter, like 2-time NCAA qualifier, and like Joey Prada's like a top 20, top 15 guy, and I mean I was literally right there, like could have won that match, but like there was like those three key areas are gonna be like where I'm really gonna be developing in like this next month.
Okay, like I say, when I do this show, I'm literally only here so you can't interview yourself. I've like literally never had a guest go all nerd on me. Since you did that, since you made the first move, I'm gonna so I guess well, kind of where I kind of like asked to do an interview with you was after like I mean nothing, I think in my opinion, nothing is more exciting than like a 30-second go down by one, need a takedown to win kind of thing, and somebody actually gets it done. Because they know you're gonna shoot. And they're kind of specifically playing defense, so to speak. I guess was that kind of your first euphoric moment, I'm back, or is there another moment within the weekend that you feel that, you know, you truly felt back to competing?
I mean, honestly, like I think like our wrestle off was really like our wrestle off was like big for me, right? Like I've like never like had the spot where like I know like the spot's like mine, you know? And like this year, like winning like the wrestle off, like I like, you know, like I teched like honestly a solid kid, right? Like Sean Spital on our team, he made the finals of the freshman sophomore division at 125, and like I wrestled him off, like did very well. And I was like, you know, like that was like a good moment. And then if you're referring to like the Michigan State match, right, where like, you know, like where I got like the takedown like the last 15, like it was a really good moment. And like, you know, like my family was there. I had like one of my really good buddies from back home back there up at Michigan State, and like my uncle and my cousin, and you know, like it's like a 6.5 hour drive for them. So for them to come, and then for me to get like, you know, like so I didn't wrestle for like the first 5 hours. Um I was kind of joking about it. I was like, you know, if you're like in the open division, you're not a freshman or sophomore, so you're 20 to 23 years old, and if you're not starting, like you're not making 25. Like nobody is not cutting to 25. So if you lose your wrestle off, like you're bumping up. So I think my bracket had like 14 guys in it, but like they were all like really solid. And it's like right away, like I had like a really like I mean solid guy from Michigan State. So like came down to like the last 15 seconds, and I hit like a pretty sweet move to get like the last takedown, and it was just like a super good moment, and I just felt really good about it. I mean, the match didn't really go my way. I think I could have taken that match a really like quite a few different ways to really open it up and score more points, but like getting nothing's better than getting like a final 15-second takedown to ice it, you know.
Agreed. A win is a win is a win, especially at this point in the season. Um, who is who's the loud one of the Bergelin Bunch? Who's the one that you can hear from when you're wrestling?
Oh, it's probably my mom. If that's what you're referring to, my mom is really loud. She's always been like that.
Is she one of those that'll give you advice and you're just like, okay, we need to take that one with a grain of salt?
Oh no, she's no advice. It's just like the old "Come on, Bergie," and then she'll just scream that about. I honestly don't even hear it anymore. If you heard that in one of the stands, she means all good. She doesn't know the most about wrestling. She just kind of says the same few things over and over again. But she definitely doesn't coach from the sidelines or from the stand for that matter. So that's good.
So I guess since are you very much of like kind of a film guy and kind of love to watch and rewatch kind of your matches, because you seem to have especially for what 48 hours since the matches happen, it's probably the deepest understanding that at least anyone has shared with me about specific matches.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm really close with our coach, like Coach Borelli and whatnot, and like it's just kind of my thing. Like I get off the match and like I have a pretty good analysis of like what went good and like what didn't. Like I'm good at like analyzing like my results and like be like, man, like I really did this dumb or like I didn't finish here, and like, man, like dude, like there's times where like I hate practice, like I absolutely like like it's like nobody likes the like the 2 hour grinds of like like a college wrestling room, but like I love to compete and like that's kind of why I came back here this year is because like I was going to get my opportunity to like really show myself at like the MAC tournament. Like talk is cheap, so like for me it's like I've beaten NCAA qualifiers, like I can sit there and say that for the rest of my life, or like I can actually get the chance to go compete in the MAC tournament and like do it myself and like get down to the big show in Detroit this year and like actually go, and make a name for myself. So like I didn't, like I didn't want to sit there and talk for the rest of my life. So like when it comes to like wrestling, like I love like just analyzing like myself and like I love watching the sport of wrestling. Like I'm not the biggest sport guy, but like when it comes to wrestling, like the US Open, like all that stuff, like I'm watching like all of it and I really do like watching the sport of wrestling and I'll probably be a lifelong fan.
So is your intuition better than kind of a lot of wrestlers? Do you know kind of before you even look at the film kind of what you did right or wrong? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I would say so because I mean, like I came off of, like I came off of, like the first match against the Michigan State kid. I had like a really deep high crotch, and like the way that I set up my feet, it kind of led me to like shoot like a high crotch where like I couldn't like get my lead leg up. And like I knew that like immediately, like as I was in the scramble, and didn't end up scoring on it, and like that's just like stuff that like I can pick up on, and like I mean, I'm good at like slowing the sport down, if that makes sense. Like some people, I mean, they're kind of like a chicken with their head cut off when it actually comes to like, from like drilling to like an actual match. But like, I'm pretty good at just, slowing the pace down and like really thinking about like what I'm doing.
so is that what drew you to coaching? Because I mean, one would think that translates to coaching extremely well. And I know some people have that ability, but only for themselves, and other people only have that ability for other people. So
Yeah. I mean, part of it, yeah, for sure. I mean, I do think in due time, like I would be a very good coach. And Borelli and Bennett, like, because I had told them that like I was planning on being done at the end of the year, and they would always like give me crap and be like, "Oh, like you need to go into coaching, like blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, I need a break." And then like Max and Ben Askren had like given me a call and like said like, "Hey man, like consider like coming back to and like coaching in Green Bay or whatever." And I was like, I gave it like a few weeks off, and then I was like, you know what, like yeah, sure, I'll do this. And I actually really enjoyed it. And like, like the nice thing about Askren is like they have so many talented athletes.
oh my
I
god.
think I think they had 36 kids in their last senior class, like going to wrestle at like the college level, either like Division 1 to Division 3. So it's like I don't think I'll ever coach in like a high school setting, right? If that makes sense. But like I think I'll always coach in like a club setting where like the kids are like generally motivated to like get better, because it's like that's kind of more or less like I love developing kids that like are there for like a purpose because like they choose to be there and they want to be better, but like don't really care to like coach at a high school level, because kids are like wrestling in high school because their parents put them in the sport when they were 5 years old, type of deal.
Everyone has I know you said you're not a huge sports guy, but you're giving me huge like Jacob DeGrom baseball vibes where like he knows where he messed up before and then the like analytical guys will go up to him and say, "Yep, you're right. This is where it was all." Anyway, super impressive. I guess as you come back, kind of your second time around and kind of actually having a spot in the lineup this time, kind of how has your team role kind of changed?
Oh, what do you can you like rephrase that? What do you mean?
Sure. I mean, I guess it's like, I guess when you first come on and you're kind of under the wing I guess, all right, let's put it this way. Are you kind of like this pseudo assistant coach almost in a way? Just because you've been doing this so long, kind of been there, done that, seen it all?
Yeah, I mean, I try to really break down, um, like in like the simplest things, right? And for me, it's like, I don't know, like it's kind of like being like grateful. Like for me, like, I came back, like I lost in the finals, and like for me, it was like, man, like, like it's hard to like really dread your, like the hard parts about wrestling, because like I literally went up to my dad and I was like, like I didn't win the finals, but like if I didn't come back, like I wouldn't have even competed the year. So it's like I kind of take everything with, like look at like in the positive sense, and like that's just kind of like, we have actually like, our freshmen were like way more motivated than I was as a freshman. Like I tell them that every day. Like you got like our freshmen are actually, they're a great class and whatnot. But like I just try to like shed some light on them, and then just be like, hey, like you guys are on the right track. Just keep doing what you're doing. Cause like, we have incredible, like I don't have to like, to like show them, like I don't have to lead by example. Like our freshmen are actually very good. So I just keep telling them like, hey guys, just keep doing what you're doing and you guys will have success in due time.
And is that certainly some like perspective that you didn't have kind of as a freshman or sophomore yourself? Kind of like, I guess as a freshman, when you lose one match, it's like the end of the world and the world is falling.
I mean, not necessarily that. I know that like my freshman year, like I had like some like frustrations with like, like I was winning, but like, like taking losses, like not knowing when I would be in the lineup, right? Like that's like such a big thing. And I don't think people think about that like in college wrestling. And that's something like when I went back and I was coaching and I had all these kids that were like looking to go like D1, D2 or whatever. I was like, dude, like one of the most important priorities you guys should have is not like the best school that you can go to. Like, look at the kids that are at the school right now and be like, can I see myself in the lineup here? Because like, it's cool to like impress your high school friends and like go to like a Big Ten school or go somewhere where like, like that where everyone's gonna be like, oh no way, he's committed here. But like I've seen so many kids just sit for 4, 5 years and never even get a chance to wrestle at like the Big Ten tournament or like, like get their chance to qualify for NCAs. And those guys could be top 30 guys, but like they never get the chance to wrestle or like start on their team. So like that's kind of where I was. I was like, oh crap, like Drew Hildbrandt's pretty good, And I was like, man, like I don't know, like, am I gonna start here? And like that stuff will weigh on you, especially like, like making 25 even when I was 18, like was not easy. And it was like really cruddy when like I wasn't like even starting or like anything like that. And I was like cutting a good amount of weight. And it was like hard to like stay positive and like really like just like keep on with like the hard work every single day. So like that's kind of what I tell them is like, hey, you guys are doing great, and in due time, like you guys are gonna have your time, and that's like the best leadership advice that I give on like almost a daily basis to the younger guys we got going on in our practice room.
And I guess is that kind of emotional side of the sport something that like people don't pick up on, so to speak? Not only the media, the fans, whatever.
Oh, 100%. And like I see people day in day out commit, and they're like solid high school wrestlers, like state champs, like whatever, and like like they're just I see these kids commit every single day to these schools, and they're like good wrestlers, but I'm like these kids are never gonna start at this program, and like I see these kids like like just to give you an example, like I had a teammate named Jordan Atienza, right, and he started in a class of 13 guys. He was the only graduating fifth year. Logan Parks, he was the year below him. He had 12 guys in his class, and he was the last one, right? So I'm like, and like a lot of it is like college wrestling not being for them. Like a lot of it is like not getting in the lineup, but like a lot of it is like, man, it's like, do I want to give up the college experience? Do I want to give up like the best 4 years of my life if I'm just gonna sit behind and like be a backup for all 4 years? So it's like that's kind of like it's really hard. And like I don't think people like it's so easy to sit from like a fan's perspective and just like not see that side of it, but like that is like the grueling part about college athletics. And like the main reason why I was done too, right? Like I wasn't going to be a fifth year that like turned down like a good job, just like sit and be a backup for like another year. Like that's just dumb, you know? So like, like I said, that's why I tell my freshmen that like, they're doing a really good job. And I tell them like all the time, be like, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Like you guys will see success.
Yeah, I guess my phrase is that fans think the lineup is like an interchangeable Rubik's Cube, and that what we realize is it's not Rubik's Cube pieces that we're turning here. It's people,
Yeah.
right? You start someone new, that means somebody else had to be benched. But a couple more here, because I know I gotta let you go soon, and hopefully give you as much time as you need on the 11:59 assignment. I wish you the best of luck there. But I guess how do you kind of I guess we kind of touched on it a little bit, but not a lot of college wrestlers also have a full-time job. Like they're super demonic powers that we don't know about that we can, spread around here a little bit? Or like when was it that you decided that yes, I can do all three? I can do a grad program, an MBA, and wrestle at a really good program.
Yeah. First of all, it was like, it's not something I wanted to do, right? Like it's not that I wanted to do. It was never in the cards. Like I didn't even want to come back for a fifth year and do grad school in wrestling, at like one point. And I was fortunate enough, like you can kind of tell, like, like I am like a bookworm. Like I'm kind of like a little bit of a nerd. That's why like I go on like intellectual rants, and whatnot. And fortunately enough for me, like I got like a very good job. Like it's virtual. And talking to my boss and whatnot, like he was cool with me, like staying virtual till like the end of the season. When I had talks with him about like possibly coming back, and it's just long days, I practice early, so I got good teammates that are willing to come in early with me once a week. So wake up like 5:30, go to practice from 6 to 8. Then I go to work for the day, and then got lift or run or individual drills from like 5:30 to 6:30, and then, by the time dinner's done, it's like 7 to 10 p.m. I'm usually doing homework, and then weekends are pretty important. Lucky enough for me, I didn't take a ton of vacations or like really any for that matter before wrestling had started. So, I kind of got my vacation days set now to where like there are travel days to where like I can use my vacation, but it's crazy. And I was literally like, I always like, I think I might be the first person to ever do this. I honestly don't wish this upon my worst enemy. It's grueling. But like, my job is just very good. Shout out Ford Motor Company. They treat you well, and I love the culture there. And it's not something that I was willing to budge, like with coming back. It was, kind of like, nobody has like a dream company that they want to work for, but like Ford is like, like one of, like if I were to choose a job when I was like 16 years old, like when I was 16, I was about to transfer high school, and like the contingency that I didn't transfer a high school was that like I got to get like my first like dream vehicle, which was like a Ford Mustang. And so I didn't transfer literally because of that, because that's how bad I wanted like a beat up Ford Mustang. Didn't end up getting the Mustang, by the way, but it kept me from like, when I was thinking about leaving my high school, my parents shut me up with that. So it's like to work for Ford, I was like not willing to budge on that. But yeah, it's crazy. And honestly, these next 6 weeks are going to be grueling just because all my classes are in 8-week schedules. But once these 6 weeks are done, I have Christmas break, and then, I have one class for the rest of the season, and then 2 classes once season ends. So it's really just these next 6 weeks are going to be pretty brutal. And a lot of 16, hour days, but at the end of the day, this is what I tell everyone else is like, I chose to do this because like I wanted another chance. I didn't want to be all talk for the rest of my life about who I beat, who qualified, or who All-American or whatever. Like I wanted to do that on my own and accomplish that myself. So, it's a 4-month sprint for sure, but I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad I'm doing it.
Good Lord. You just made me feel, I mean, you're gonna make when I release this, you're gonna make everyone feel like awful, because I guarantee you there's not a human being in a 20-mile radius, 50-mile radius from where you are that's as productive. But but sorry. I guess I could talk to you all day, but I'll let you go here in a minute. I guess what are kind of your, have you kind of thought about your goals as to, or how you kind of have approached goals throughout your career, and kind of if it's any different this time?
I mean, yeah. I mean, my goals are this year are, I mean, to get on the podium, right? I mean, I saw guys get on the podium this year that like I think I'm very competitive with, and I mean, I saw myself beat. I mean, I've beaten NCAA qualifiers time and time again, and I mean, it was literally my first tournament back. You know, off 2 months of serious training, first time down at 25 since I was 18 years old, and like, I mean, I wrestled fine and like a few adjustments, and like I blow all three of those matches away. So it's like for me, it's like, I mean, there's no reason why I can't get on the podium. And if I wanna ride smart, and like not go for the kill and try to pin every kid like super fast, like I think I can ride all three of those kids out. And like I just noticed down at 25, like how much better and stronger my hand fighting is. So like I can keep guys off my legs, like very, very well. And like knowing that and like having that confidence, and especially for me, like it's all like a second chance. So it's like gonna go all out, like I was already done. So for me, it's like, like this season, like I take it very seriously. And I mean, I'm giving up a lot of luxuries in life that I had beforehand to come back. So it's like, I'm not coming back to just wrestle at a MAC tournament. Like I'm looking to get on the podium at NCAs. And, I always joke like with my roommates who like I'm really close with, I'm like, the only way I'm coming back for a 6 year is if I'm around a 12. And I was like, and I don't wish that on anybody in this world. But like, if I'm around a 12, I was like, I got to do a 6 year. But as of, I mean, the goal is to get on the podium and call it a career. So I'm really excited, and I don't see that. I mean, I know I have the potential to. It's just about doing the right things between now and Detroit, and at the end of the day, competing and getting it done.
So you do have yet another year of eligibility, yes?
Yeah, that's where it gets weird with that COVID year, because I mean, I technically have a 6 year. Um, as of now, I mean, I take it on a day to day basis. I mean, this stuff is tough, and obviously, like right now, I mean, like I'm juggling like probably about 80-hour weeks plus like a pretty extreme diet to make 125. So it's like it's pretty crazy, and as much as I love wrestling, I mean, the only way I'd probably come back is like a round of 12 finish. And like I said, man, if that happened, I would be pretty distraught. I think I'd rather go 2-2 than be round of 12, because round of 12 is like the worst thing, like nobody wants to be there and not reach the podium. So I mean, I just got to get it done.
I'm sure you will. I could talk to you all day, but very last thing before I let you go, kind of a fun one. I use, and this kind of serves dual purpose for the show too. I use kind of your walkout/hype song as intro and whatever music. So, we got anything? You got anything for me?
Oh, yeah, sure. Just play what is it? I think is it Rico, or is it like you might just get hit with the Rico? Um, what is it? Man, like this can't be my hype song if I think it's just Rico, right? I'm pretty sure it's like you might just get hit with the Rico.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be my walkout song for this year. Me and my before like the night before I came back, I was hanging out with my cousin who came up this weekend actually, and we were just bumping to this song in the car, and like this song started playing, I just started bumping to it and he started bumping to it, and I was like, dude, this is gonna be my walkout song. And I've been listening to it a lot lately.
All right. Sounds good. I will let you get back to whatever you need to do, because you've got no shortage of it, and I certainly appreciate you taking half an hour out of your already extremely busy day to do this. I wish you the very best for the season.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on here.
Thank you. Take it easy now.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of The Mental Takedown. As always, my thanks to Brock for being such an engaging conversation and finding half an hour out of his extremely busy day to do this. If you did enjoy our conversation, as always, don't be shy to like, subscribe, follow the Instagram, yada yada yada. The same old. It's always been a pleasure doing these, and it's quite frankly amazing to see that everybody has a different story and a different set of circumstances that normally would not be shown just on the wrestling mat. See you next time, and enjoy the rest of your day. We have plenty of episodes coming out mighty soon.